Area, hello. I throw a salute. All correct, sass. Hey, una do well. Hey, una do well. Not be here. Before I begin talk, all the Tinubu supporters where they talk anyhow for comment section. For the past 2 days, I not see una. All the APC supporters, you una dey na how far na? Wetin dey happen na? No market. Una go enter my comment section, they top like say tomorrow not day. Who do na this one? I don't understand. Who be our president? Now Mrs. Tinubu, I be now Mr. Tinubu. See, my tell you one thing about dementia. Dementia patients, if they recognize one person to be the person where they know, if it be anybody, they fit pick anybody. They fit even pick somebody where be say, who relate to them, like blood. You understand? Or just pick on that person. And that person, then they will be their best friend. This is the behavior I'm seeing now with our president. That is why you see I'm saying anywhere we enter, wife they sit down near him. I'm not blame your wife. Your wife they sit down. Anywhere we go, your wife will follow him. Any meeting we attend, the wife, because the wife understand him. In fact, now the wife now be Ikera. If you don't know now, make una know. Yes, now the wife be Ikera. So mo kuna upon na here. Not but only family business. Now we see they see presidential business. So Tinubu, the said president, the wife, the carer, and the picky kosi come at the Iyaloja of Nigeria. That be Lagos of Nigeria. He say he want the papa full support. So that thing will see they advise the father about Nigeria. Who born you? Hey! First daughter. Not be here. Then the sheriff for his side. See, when your father to get money, there's this thing. I don't know want to explain now. But you bless say when your father to get money, you're gonna feel say every other person poor. You feel say not only your own now rich, every other person not rich. Right? Say now your father not get the absolute power. Maybe wait till they play here. Now that aside. Now coming to carries the nonsense we go talk for our eyes. In fact, the answer and question, he go give 200 words. One question. He go give you play, he go give you sentence, he go give you full house. And everything he's saying is just repeating himself in his circle. He just they talk the same thing over and over again. I don't make one sense for what he will talk. They answer me about price. He talk and say all the price regulation not be the same. The price they say they sell for Benin, then they say they sell for Lagos, then they say they sell for Calabar. He just they talk anyhow. See, who want help us for this country? Who want help us, like physically? I know God is there for us. I believe. But physically, who want help us? Because we don't put ourselves for this Tinubu. Bad as a bad, we don't enter. We don't put our tribunal on. That one another story for another day. We here say the... We here say the evidence wey Obi present a trailer that they bring out. Extent. InEC chairman see evidence. He say he not recognize. He say na stamp na be those evidence. Say those evidence he no understand. Say not be documents. Say not be certified documents. See, they say InEC chairman weak. InEC weak when he see evidence. Big pack come out. Then they pack come out. InEC say no. He say not be certified evidence. He say this one are InEC stamp now. These are original documents. The guy say he said no. He said no. So he said the case now let me say InEC they fight their own InEC. InEC they fight themselves in the sense that InEC they follow their own document they fight. They tell their documents say we don't know you. I don't see. This whole thing there. The way they play, the thing they sweet. First subsidy they do you for one side, tribunal they do you for that side. Mr. President and the family they do you for that side. Nigeria with the hungry, they did the middle. Oh God, help us. Try. There is God, oh. There is God, oh. Okay. There's something I like about that man. He's not the talking type. If he come out, if he respects you, obey you, you call him, make you come do interview, you will be there because he's humble. You get that humility personally, get that humility, that humility they in him, right? But I see him like person will be say, even when this whole thing go against him, he wasn't the type that comes out and talk too much. No, you don't even know what they up to. The others, you can actually read, okay, this is what they're up to, that's what they're up to. Right now, be silent. The lawyers, you go over them, say, okay, what did they say in court today? Don't smile. Don't worry, we're not going to expose everything that happened in court. Don't bother. Not be secret then they want to for court. LEP don't follow them. They do no journalists, no cameras. LEP don't join them now. If you answer LEP, say what happened in court today, they'll say, don't worry, we'll give you the full story. I they like this whole thing where they happen. So I don't know whether they like him, but personally, I they like him. We can live and I'm gonna watch all these videos on Bod TV. My next video again. Bye.
Here in the queue for the last 4 hours, and up to now, they have even not started selling the fuel. From all indication from the reliable source that we are even hearing, that the liter now in the major market is going to be sold about 540 today. And just yesterday, the Mr. President had made an announcement that the era of subsidy is over. And look at what we are facing. Look at the queue. More than how many hundreds of thousands of cars are in the queue. You can imagine this kind of situation why we are in Nigeria today. Is that what we have voted for? We have not voted for this kind of things. It's very, very unfortunate. We cannot continue this way. The masses has voted, and we don't support. We don't to deserve to have this as a payback.
Price has been changed from 210 to 560. You can see it now. But this is crazy. And when they come, they portray themselves as the hope of Nigeria. Is it hope? Somebody just came in on power. It's not up to 3 or 2 days. Everything just scattered. Is this the hope we are waiting for? We are looking for? But this is so awkward. Is this a way forward? Is this a hope for we youth? Where are we driving to? This is not right. This is not Nigeria we hope for.
It's unfair and it's a slap on the face of citizens of Nigeria because we don't expect this from our president. We don't expect this from this party called APC. It is unfair.
It's going to cause a sort of economic doldrum where everybody we bear that financial agony. There is no doubt about that.
I went to the black market to buy fuel. They are telling me by liter is 900, 800. So I can't have a choice. I must buy it. So if I went to the customer, if I charge the customer highest 1,500 or 2,000, he will complain.
They sold for 189 this morning. After they sold for that set, the manager now came and said, okay, they are selling. They've had orders from Abuja that they want to sell for 515 naira now. So that is why we are still here. Up till now, I slept there for a good 2 days. I've not bought fuel.
In less than 24 hours of his administration, Nigerians have faced the type of hardship that even Buhari did not give us. The hardship Buhari gave us during the election, Tinubu has come to give us the updated version of the hardship. This is real hardship.
I beg, I don't take God beg Tinubu, make it do something. I don't dare here since the day before yesterday. My buy fuel to drive my keke so that I go feed the carry passenger. I no fit. And to buy water for us with can. No way to buy water. All the poor people where they sell water 2029, they said no water, self, no way to buy to take on generator to pump the water. I never bath. Since yesterday I never bath.
You never bath?
You know the smell. You know the smell from my body.
Wait, you the smell?
I the smell.
Then come out for ya.
I want to come out one by one.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much.
We have created more poverty, and that's why we're talking about palliatives. How are we going to navigate way through this? But you can't navigate if you don't have the truth. So see, that 515, based on our interview with Mele Kyari, I'm going to challenge that figure. Because when I asked Mr. Mele Kyari for exactitude of a price range, he didn't answer. He didn't give me a specific number. So where did that number 515 come from? And that's why I also asked, what were the templates at which they arrived at that number? Said market forces and all of that. He didn't want to bore me with that. Where did that number come from?
Just to follow up, so that means if we theoretically say we move closer towards the parallel market rates, depending on what that single rate is, does that not mean that the fuel prices will go up? Because if you're saying that NNPC is using the official exchange rate and we're using that to determine 515 in Bayelsa or 537 in Abuja or 490 in Lagos, does that not mean that if other players use a rate closer to the parallel market, doesn't that mean we will see higher fuel costs, higher prices than what is being used at the NNPC stations for other players in the market?
No, I do not think so, because what this will do, this situation will do, is, of course, it will also regulate consumption, mind you. When you have higher prices of commodities, very typical, you regulate your consumption, and that means the volume of the product you are going to require will come down very, very naturally. At least my estimate is that probably about 30% of the volume of the consumption will come down. And I've continuously said over and over again that as we speak today now, there is no verifiable data to say the level of consumption in this country. But we know the evacuation from our depots. And that evacuation number will come down at least by 30%. If that happens, it also means collateral decrease in the requirement of FX in the market. Therefore, the same source of FX that NNPC has access to, all of the market will have access. I know and I'm aware of ongoing engagements to ensure that everyone else has access to that FX, that single window market for the FSA. Once that happens, you will not see any spiral, you will not see any change that is significant. It will not happen. And therefore, I do not see any fears around the exchange rate impact on the price of the PMS.
Okay, Mr. Kiari. At first, I'd like to ask you, what is the NNPC rate as we speak, or what is the band as we speak? Can you tell us the specific number? Number two, what was the calculation behind arriving at that number? What was the calculation?
I think this is very technical, probably not that I do not know. I don't think this is a platform to compute arithmetic. And I completely agree with you that, yes, there must be a basis of this competition. This is the market reflective rate of the commodity at this point.
So what informed the market reflection?
Cost of order.
What informed the market reflection now? What were the computational forces that informed that market reflection, that which you hedged at this price?
First of all, the price of petroleum motor spirit is an international price. You can just Google right now and you'll see it. The import price is not secret. Nobody can dispute this. So it's there. You can do it. You can convert to Naira and you'll see what that means. And secondly, around the value chain, you have number of indices. I don't know whether I should bore you with this or bore the public with this. You have to have the cost of ship-to-ship transfers, cost of holding this product in the depots, cost of also managing trucks from the depot all the way to fuel station, cost of also managing the product at the fuel station, and also several other margins, that of the marketers, that of the depot owners, that you have to factor. And there are numbers around it. I can't recollect all of them this moment, but I know that we look at all this all the way to the fuel depot before we arrive at the price that you are seeing in the depot. So it's really a lot of science around this, but of course it is verifiable, and if necessary, maybe subsequently we can actually publish how we went about it.
So what's the exact band as we speak today? The exact band. We want some exactitude.
There is no band. My brother, there is no ban. You see that the price in Maiduguri is different from Kano, is different from Sokoto, different from Abuja, Owerri, and so on and so forth. There is nothing like ban. I think that is the error of the past, where we create bans around pricing. The market doesn't work in ban, it works around realities. So whatever it takes you to take this product from Lagos into Maiduguri is very different from what it will do to take you into Abuja. And therefore, those computations, every marketer does this. It's for every commodity. By the way, if you buy diesel, that you know today that diesel probably in Abuja is somewhere around 640, and it will not be the same price in Maiduguri, it will not be the same price in Sokoto, and also it can't be the same price in Lagos. So it's distinct. Oil companies do this. It's not secret. And competition will come in. It's not the kind of Coca-Cola stuff that you have single price for everything all over the country. No, it doesn't work that way.
So we need to be able to tell ourselves the truth about the situation. It needs to go one way or the other. And you see, it is so easy also to make the arguments that supply-side economists make. Oh, once you remove subsidy, there will be ample production in the market, prices will come down, it will fall and everything. That is all things being equal. For commodities like this, what about the days all things are not equal?
Yes, absolutely.
The government still comes to buffer, like we've seen in aviation fuel. Also, America deregulated in 81. We've seen instances where America has still released their strategic national reserve. What we should do is to move forward, bring palliatives in place, try as much as possible to cushion the effect on the people, and the government officials that say, if you want people to buy the bullet and suffer, you too must take that. We must not see long convoys everywhere.
At least what needs to be done that has been in contention. I recall when the Jonathan government tried to remove subsidy, there was all of that protest saying this is not how you should go about it. If you were to remove it, this is what should be done. I saw an interesting piece you wrote about some of the things that need to be put in place. So I'd like you to just shed more light on that. If subsidy is to be removed the right way, then how should we go about it?
Okay, my initial view has always been that three things need to be in place to remove subsidy. And I guess the government has told you to remove subsidy first before doing those three things. And I'll very quickly mention what those three things are. Ultimately, the first two would help reduce the quantity of fuel, that's PMS and diesel in particular, businesses, individuals, and factories use. The first one is to ensure that we have more public power, maybe 100% available grid power. Because if we have grid power, you and I would not buy diesel and PMS for our generators. And for businesses, for factories, that's about 40% of their cost. So if you ensure that there's grid power, it then means 40% of that is off. You understand? Maybe you still have 3, 4, 5% based on tariffs for electricity. Because people spend up to 300% of what the actual tariff will be to fuel their generators. You know, electricity works on economies of scale. So if the first thing government needs to do immediately, if this is to stand, is to ensure that whatever it takes, pull all the stops to ensure that grid power is available. The second one is to ensure that you have various means of transportation apart from road transport. You can have rail, and it's not just in Lagos State or in Port Harcourt. You want to ensure that you have in the entirety of the country alternative means for people to move around, even if it's going to be electric bicycles. You know, you want to ensure that beyond relying on PMS, I know every day, almost every week, you'd have to buy petrol for your vehicle. Imagine that, and I understand from Ikorodu to VI, it takes about 5 hours. Imagine that there are ride and park stations where people can ride their vehicles 5 minutes away from the house, 2, 3 minutes, park, go up on a train, or go on water, and can even place their vehicles on seagoing vehicles, on trawlers, on vessels, you know, boats, large boats that can move those vehicles and move the individuals to where they are going. I understand it's 15 minutes from Ikorodu to the island. If you go on water, that's the second option. It will reduce that volume. And thirdly, you want to ensure that we continue to refine in country. Those will help ensure that we spend much less on PMS and diesel. And the adverse impact will be substantially reduced by up to 80%.
I find it rather interesting that you didn't talk about that $800 million World Bank loan as some sort of maybe palliatives, because I know that Labour talked about it, that was part of the things that the federal government tabled before it. Would you say that's a right move to pursue that? In any case, it's still some sort of borrowing. It's just borrowing as a sort of palliative. So what you're thinking on that, should that also be an option to explore?
Okay, for me, I believe in supporting productive activities rather than handing over handouts to people. Those don't last. If you give people 5,000, I'd rather government created an enabling environment for more jobs to be created. So imagine that government does incentivize investing in other means of transport. You hear about the Hyperloop in California, in Edmonton, in Calgary, in Canada. You hear moves around other means of transportation. You hear about various other means of transportation. I'm trying to recall what that's called, where you have vehicles overhead. You know, people would invest and be more jobs. I'd rather government use that money to incentivize, to enable the environment, to encourage more people to do business and employ more people rather than give handouts that won't last. You know, I'd rather they taught people to fish than give them fish. That's why I don't think that's something sustainable, and I didn't think it was one of the conditions, because it's short term. You don't want to continue to borrow to eat. You want to borrow for productive activity so that more people have jobs. I think that's my view.
Folashade Tinubu Ojo, the daughter of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on Wednesday set social media buzz after declaring herself the Iyoloja General of Nigeria. The title meant to identify her as the president of all market men and women in the country was added to her Twitter bio after the inauguration of her father, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as president of Nigeria. Folashola in 2013 was crowned the Iyaloja of Lagos. She was said to have inherited the title from her paternal grandmother, the late President General of Lagos Market Men and Women, Alhaja Abibat Mogaji. All right, I wanted to take some reactions, but in the meantime, Folashola Tinubu is seeking support from her father's administration to achieve economic growth, especially at the grassroots level. She made the appeal during a meeting organized by stakeholders on improving the quality of life for women, youth, and the vulnerable in the society on Tuesday, stating that the country can only move forward with the combined effort of everyone.
My father is now the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and I need to help him in my own way, connecting to the people, seeking people's opinion, getting information from the people how they are, then processing it and taking it back to the system. That these are the areas we will want you, the people want you to do something. It's not just my responsibility alone. With women, youth, we need to work together and stand up to the government that, they've promised this, and it is very important for us to achieve it. So we will not relent in our effort, calling the attention of the government that ensuring that all the promises made is being kept.
There she is, speaking in her capacity as the Iyaloja General of Nigeria. Ayo, I see you blinking. I know that, she's the first daughter, right?
First daughter of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Oh, that was added, was it?
She has taken it off her state. I'm just on her page.
Okay, very good, because I know
her.
She's removed the first daughter.
She has removed the first daughter.
Why she deny? No.
The
She's the first daughter of the Federal Republic of
Nigeria is still there, because she was before the General of Lagos. So now she's speaking in her capacity.
Promoted herself.
Yeah, she has promoted herself.
And by the way, Oji, before, and you heard that in her statement.
Yes.
Before the inauguration, she had a pre-inauguration dinner as well for her people. And then she also had a dinner with Friends of Iyaloja Initiative, where she had some speakers come. And she said she wanted to focus on women and youths. I just wonder what the First Lady would do in this instance. I don't know how they, usually the First Lady would take on certain CSO roles. But when you look at things like this, a few days back, Oji, we're still arguing about the role of the First Lady, whether it's constitutional or not. And now we have to grapple with the idea of a first daughter and perhaps a first son.
Yes.
It's coming very soon. It's a waste of, it's an abuse of power in the first instance. The first thing I just want to say very quickly is that I think the president should call his family to order. We need to, there's a lot of work to be done, and we shouldn't be spending time talking about the daughter of the president, saying that she has to advise. Advise him in your family meetings, in your sitting room, and not bring it to the public and make Nigerians upset by putting first daughter of Nigeria.
Okay, I would like to disagree with you. You can't tell us how we are going to run our lives, please.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
When my father was giving birth to me as the first daughter, you were not there.
Oh, you're speaking for her.
So please, know your level.
All right.
So okay. I'm speaking in my capacity, please know your level. Please, do you know how long it took my father to be able to be president?
All right, Rufai, the violence is a lot.
Please,
all right,
stay in your place, Ayo.
Ayo, you spoke about the office of the First Lady, correct? And let me take another story. The First Lady of Nigeria, Remi Tinubu, has also been trending online after a photo where she appeared to be seated in a meeting with her husband, President Bola Tinubu, and Vice President Kashim Shettima at the presidential villa began circulating online. The viral photo was reportedly taken within hours of the meeting Tinubu had with the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, and the Group Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari. Well, Remi has been criticized online for allegedly breaking protocol less than 24 hours after her husband assumed office. Well, let's take some reactions. This person wrote, Apparently, Remi sat through the meeting Tinubu had with the CBN governor and the GMD NNPC Shettima attended too. So apparently we have a president, deputy president, and vice president. Notice also that both Tinubu and Remi have their ADCs present too. A long ride. Well, Egayi wrote, this administration came with a lot of unique systems. 1, Office of the President, Tinubu. Office of the Deputy President, Remi. Office of the Vice President, Shettima. Office of the First Lady, Remi. Office of the First Daughter, Folashade Tinubu. Office of the First Son, Sheyi Tinubu. Well, finally, this person wrote, I personally didn't see anything wrong in this. Remi Tinubu herself is a politician, and Tinubu, on the other hand, have health challenges. I don't know how this person knows that. Plus, if Remi runs the government and everything goes smoothly, that's fine. Both are one in marriage. Remi is not just the other room first lady. I know you can't wait to speak, Arufai. Okay, go ahead.
All of you are just jealous of our administration.
Okay.
See, in that case, what God has joined together,
let no man they're one. They're one, right?
So two as one. So what you are doing, you are getting 2 senators for the price of 1.
Oh goodness! I want to hear from. I want to really hear from Kayode Rufai
and Senator Remi Tinubu, 2 senators. So I think with Ayo and everybody that are talking,
yes,
you people are just envious.
Okay,
but
very good.
Anyway, this is what's trending,
yes.
So I can be sarcastic.
Yeah, you can. Well,
yes.
the office of the First Lady, Kayode, really quickly, because we need to go.
No, we know that.
It's unconstitutional, but that photo, I don't know what you make of it really quickly.
There's nothing to make of it. If it is unconstitutional, there's no First Lady. And even if there was a constitutional position for First Lady, all you have to realize is that that First Lady is not part of the presidential team that should be meeting with key stakeholders, whether it's CBN governor or it's head of NNPC or whatever. Yeah. That's the right thing to do.
All right. I don't say that in government. There's something called classified information. And even your wife should not be privy to that information.
Pick a wrong wig and gown. Please. If you know this is yours, because the lawyer said it was called last. Why don't you quietly pick your old wig and return the new wig to the lawyer, please? Thank you.
If I don't read this.
I'm sorry whether I'm not getting it correct. Proceedings. You will see that initially, yes, we had some hitches, but along the line, everything went on smoothly. Where all the state documents we wanted to tender, not tendered, the 6 states and the local governments that we came with were all tendered, and the court admitted all of them. So yes, there were initial glitches or a problem, but along the line we were able to move on. So it's not an unnatural thing. It happens in the process of litigation. It is shocking to us too that InEC would be attacking their own documents, processes that emanated from them. They are objecting it. Not only that those things came from them, they certified it. And when you certify a document, it means I have the original copy in my custody, and I hereby give you this one, which I have certified, confirming that in my custody, I have the original. So INEC, having done all this, they're still saying we will object. Of course, that's what you see in Nigeria. But in advanced climb, I doubt if after a document has emanated from you, you are the proper custody, you certify the document as emanating from you, and the document is tendered, and you are still saying you will challenge it. All manner of things happen in Nigeria. Watch.
And we will charge you, gentlemen of the press, to interrogate INEC and find out why they will be doubting the integrity of the so-called election they conducted by challenging a document that they issued to us, certified it, and we tendered. That is what you will ask them, because it's so shameful.
This is the Bod TV board. In case the first time you come here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more uploads.